So make sure this mic is working. Maybe it's not working. So I ran into some black male zealots, these fanatical fans. And what was amazing with these black male zealots is the fact that they couldn't hear themselves. Black male zealots, these dudes who prove Cynthia G right, and it's so bad. I didn't realize how bad it was. So I'll give you this situation like a crime. So a person says, "Hey, we got a cold case. We got a cold case that we have not solved. Cold case has not it's not solved, but we've ruled out the parents of John Benet Ramsey because the parents of John Benet Ramsey gave a excuse to Detective Thomas." Okay, but the parents could still be the culprits. No, we've totally ruled out the parents. The case is still unsolved, right? Yeah, the case is still unsolved, but the parents got a solid alibi. Nobody has a solid alibi until the case is solved. They have a solid alibi right now. No, 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 no. Rast has. I'm gonna put the link in because I think that you'll find this interesting too. This was just a group of zealots that I encountered, and it was just such a weird event to have people who couldn't even hear what they're talking about. And the only thing the zealots could do is say, "Well, Mr. Research, you were just trying to be right." But bear with me. Here's what happened. So there's a cold case. It's not solved. There's no conclusion to this cold case. But you got a bunch of people saying there is a conclusion. Then why hasn't it been solved? Oh, Mr. Research, you're just trying to be right. Do you guys not hear yourselves? I'm asking if the cold case hasn't been concluded, can't we also, couldn't it also be the brother? Couldn't it be the father by himself and the mother's given an alibi? Couldn't it be the mother by herself? And no, that's been ruled out by Detective Thomas. Okay, all right. Then somebody else comes on and says the exact same thing. But here's the zealot. The zealot likes the second person that comes on and says the exact same thing. The zealots like the second person that comes on. And then what I'm told is, well, you're coming into a place where everybody is a fan of Detective Thomas. Isn't that zealotry? Now I understand. Now I have full clarity on why our communities. I understand how Crips and Bloods are made now. I totally understand how Crips and Bloods are made because being a zealot is important to black males. Yet the black males are swearing up and down that they're not on that. If Detective Thomas has ruled out John Benet Ramsey and John Benet Ramsey's parents, that's Detective Thomas. Another person, another officer can come in years later, because it's a cold case, and determine that John Benet Ramsey parents are not to be ruled out. It's a cold case, it's not solved. But because somebody else comes in and says the exact same thing, you receive that and you don't contest it. Oh God, Jesus. This black community. This is why I'm glad I'm glad YouTube has these type of situations that help me learn how messed up it is. I see why we're not growing. I see why there's no growth, especially amongst black males. This Crips and Bloods group thinking is amazing. It's simply amazing. And what's so tragic is you got several people saying the same thing, but they can't answer a question. They can't answer the question of they can't answer the question of a kill.
Yes, sir.
That's a beautiful person right there. Who is that?
Yes, she is. One of the, I guess you can say, side pieces. That's the main dish.
You know what, sir? That is beautiful. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. Something to occupy your time. Outstanding.
Absolutely.
Let me give you a scenario. And you know I'm not a person who does names, but let me give you a scenario. So you know what a cold case, murder case is, right?
Yeah.
I think sometimes, man, and I think it's the curse of asking questions. People don't like to be asked questions. People get real offended when you challenge what they're saying amongst black folks. And I don't know. My teacher always said you should be able to explain what you're saying. So I'm not going to talk about the subject because it's dead, it's over with. I'm just talking about the topic. You know how I do. It's about the topic.
Hmm.
If a person has a cold case, okay, and Detective Thomas says John Benet Ramsey parents got an alibi, but the case is not solved. Key word: the case is not solved. It's inconclusive. Then you can't say the parents are off the table, can you?
Absolutely not. But that's those are like red flags all over the place. And from my understanding, a zealot is somewhat a fan of being uncompromisable. In other words, they only have tunnel vision. They only can see things one particular way, and when they're called to task for that particular way, because that way has been proven to be incorrect, then there's additional problems for the ones who point that out. And I'm one of those type of people. I will point out nonsense and give uh, what's deemed logical and intellectual, uh, and I now become the enemy of that, but I enjoy I enjoy it.
Right. I enjoy it too because that's how I used to be in honor class, where we had to do that type of stuff. We had to prove our theories or our theorems, and what was so and mind you, we in the hood, you know, but what's so funny, Akil, is another person comes on later. Let's call them Detective Frank, says the exact same thing. Hey, the parents are not off the table because that could be one variable. It could be the brother, and nobody challenges that, which further proves what you just said about the whole fanboy thing, because this is another person they're like part of their group. And then after the fact, I'm told, well, you came over to the Crips and Bloods, and this is their dojo. Huh?
Yeah.
I said, "Oh my God." I thought I was coming to Charlie Chaplin's, fun conversation. I didn't know I was I didn't know he was the boy of 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 Detective Thomas. Uh, this is just a regular well, you say you're having a regular conversation, but you know, you disagreeing and you not you're not accepting the information. Accepting what? It's not concluded. The case is still open. Oh my God. I, I said, wow. And 13 of you people, men, y'all all see me asking this question. Well, the question has been answered. The question hasn't been answered. I asked a simple question. How is it? How are you guaranteeing it can't be this if you haven't concluded the? Oh my
Well, you know that honestly, that speaks to America and its seeds. These are American seeds. Who you referring to? They're the good old boys, as they're called, and I honestly I don't believe that man wants what it says it wants. When I say man, I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about some men who believe that they are in the majority, if you know what I mean.
Right, because it whatever it is would have been built by now.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
We're gonna let Jonathan get a little bit. That's my alarm saying I got to get ready to go to work. I got to get out of here. Jonathan, here's my question to you, Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
If a cold case, Eric Benet Ramsey,
Mm-hmm.
is still open,
Mm-hmm.
but Akil, Mr. Raztaz Realities, tells you that he's already ruled out the parents, and then someone else comes in and says the case is still open, nobody's ruled out. Who's right?
Well, it still needs to be discovered. It still needs to be discovered. Like the John Benet Ramsey case, the council elimination has already been implemented. I saw what happened, Mr. Research.
No. Let's not speak on it. But go ahead, because they're zealots, they're
Oh,
fans, and they're easily they hide out and like to only hear their own echo. So please, let's not speak nothing about it. Let's stick with John Benet Ramsey.
okay. Now with the John Benet Ramsey case, I just want to say I have limited understanding of that case. I know it's still open, and I'm just going to leave it like that. I just wanted to really give you some props, Mr. Research.
Jonathan, that's brother Q's point, and you just clarified it. It's still unsolved, yet we have the zealots saying, "Hey, you know, we got this. It's been done. It's been decided. Blah blah blah." And you just proved this whole point.
I'm young
Wonderful,
as
sir.
hell. I'm young as hell. I knew that shit wasn't decided.
Right.
This is
It's like,
commonplace. This is supposed to be public commonplace. I don't get these dudes.
but it's just amazing to me. And you're talking to one person, and and the person is not answering the question, but believes that they are. Hey, John Benet's mother is not guilty. Based on what? Well, because it's been determined that she not okay. You keep saying it's been determined John Bonet's mother is not guilty. Based on what? I've already said this to you. Oh my God. Do you not hear yourself? You're saying something as a statement of fact, and you want me to accept it just because somebody wrote down she's not guilty. But you're not basing it on a receipt. You're not basing it on
Stenographer.
yeah, a second witness. You're not basing it on anything. And then somebody else comes in that you adore, says the exact same thing I said, Akil, and you don't even challenge him. Yes, the parents are still on the table because the case ain't solved. Silence. I'm like, are y'all serious?
It's
Now
like
y'all
pulling teeth
fighting?
with these dudes. It's like pulling teeth. Pulling
Uh,
teeth out your skull with these dudes. Cause I had the same argument just a couple of days, not the same argument, but it was based on like dudes not putting in no track records, nothing you can be able to gauge on, no metrics. Then dude said that the data that what data cite your source. I gave him the source. He didn't even look at the source. I said, "Oh my god!"
but that's
I gave
another
him two or
thing.
three sources, and it had something where it's not on point, but it's like in the ballpark. It's like a close ballpark, like an aggregate.
You know
I got
what?
I got 6 more minutes, you guys. So go ahead.
You know what, Jonathan? Also, I have to commend you,
Because
sir.
I'm a businessman. Like Q
We're
pretty
not,
much taught me management and everything. If Q don't realize it or not, he pretty much got me on game, and I can't just go off of feelings and emotion. It has to be on raw data with a large base.
for sure that's super awesome. But check this out. Let me point out something that I don't think that you realize, brother Jonathan, that you just did, or you don't know, you may not know. Ignorance of anything is has nothing to do with logic and common sense, and you just proved that point when you mentioned you don't have much knowledge of the case, but then you came right back immediately after that statement, and you said, "Hey, A and B and C does not lead to Z because there's letters in between that particular area." Sir, you are smarter than you think you are.
Well, I knew it just based off of me not having the proper context in order to be able to have like the chronological order of what's going on. Because really, I have to have the context clues. I need to figure out who was in the area at this time, at this date, who was entering and leaving. Since it's back in the day, there isn't any uh, surveillance cameras all over the place. So
But
um,
you didn't need that particular item for you to figure out some stinks in here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you go to a garbage can, when you come with somebody's house and you go in their kitchen and there's a smell evidently coming from the garbage can. And you say, "Hey, something's in the garbage can," and now they disagreeing with you and talking about how often they change their trash. You know,
You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. The, these zealots will sit up here and tell you, hey, the trash get picked up on Thursday. It's impossible for you to be smelling anything, any trash, because today's Friday. But did you actually see the driver come and pick up the can? That doesn't matter. They pick it up on Thursday.
I'm telling you, these dudes are schizophrenic. These people are schizophrenic, man.
Oh my God. And
but
then,
but you know what? That's the beautiful thing about them being that way is they give us unlimited content. They help your light shine brighter.
well, no, I'm not. You know what? The funny thing, I'm not even trying to shine, but I realized it was such an eye opener for me because I realized how Crips and Bloods are made now. No, very serious. I realize now how easily it is for people to give themselves the thinking black man title, but not actually do it. because the question is, and then uh, 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 it was, the thing was all over with, and then the host brought it back up. The host brought it back up. Hey, the elephant in the room, da 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 da. Hey, look, bro, I just don't understand X, B B Y C, whatever. It's all good with me. Then you had a bunch of other people came to berate me. Well, why are you here? You wasn't on here at first. Why did you just pop up? You know what? You an ass. Kiss my ass. Oh my god.
I'm telling you, man, this thug gang banging mentality, man. It's funny because the last panel I was on, it was about business, and like I tell this the Q all the time. It goes to business, then it reverts back to women. I'm like, man, y'all zealots, man. For one thing, if I don't agree with you, then you just gonna bully your way. Just gonna bully your opinion. Like I need to take your stance on this. Nah, man. What?
Let me give you one more. There's a white boy. He's actually Mexican posing as white.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's all hold on. But he's always discussing black topics. I find that very ironic too on some zealotry. You're always discussing black topics. You never discuss Mexican topics. You never discuss white topics. And when you do discuss white topics, it's Democrat only. Okay. But then he has these two black dudes. One is a little bit more quicker than the other one. And the third one is there just as like when the first two people can't get you, here comes the third person. That's the purpose he serves. He just his only purpose is to come behind with the knife. And so what's so funny is now get this, gentlemen, because I could be wrong. And that's why I always say I could be wrong and I open myself up for people to correct. So this person sits up here and the white Mexican guy, he sits up here and he makes a statement to them first to prep them for what he's gonna say. Okay. Why didn't you just repeat what I actually said? Why don't you just play the video? Ah, because he had to condition them to take it. And then when I made that point to him on the second video, why don't you just play the video? Why'd you have to preface it? You know, well, because he's long-winded and blah blah blah, but you're setting it up to favor you.
Man, that's on some Bill O'Reilly type shit, man. Bill O'Reilly asks you a question, then before you even get a chance, then step in, then say, "What? So you for this, right?" Just gonna corner you into a position.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. And then he did it again, and he said, "Well, you don't get to the point." Well, if I get to the point, you will lose the context of what's being said. You want cliff notes so you can dig out your gotcha points. I'm not new to this. I've had debating teams for years when I was in school. So this ain't new. No, I got to give it to you the way I give it to you. Then what you do with it afterwards, what you do. But he's like, yeah, we want you to come on, dude. I made you that offer months ago. You didn't follow through. It's just weird, man. Just the zealotry that goes on, man. It's like, wow. You guys go ahead and give me your finals because I got to get out of here and go to work.
I
Yes,
just want to
sir.
say, my bad. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. But you know what? My closing thought is this: it appears weird. It's not. It's not really weird. What it is, it's those who ask you a question and also answer the same question that they asked you. They simply they want the spotlight. They want to be right, even when they're wrong. you can't really give them any type of credence. It's
Well, I disagree with that because that's the label they tried to give me. I don't think it's a right. They want to be right scenario. I think that they feel what they feel, but they don't have the self discipline to let somebody else feel what they feel.
well,
So I,
no, no, my point was cause I get it. I get it a lot in management. I even got it. I used to get it in my personal life with chicks I'm dealing with. Why would you ask me a question and then answer the question according to what you wanted to hear? That was my point.
true, yeah, and on that basis,
Go ahead,
you're
brother Jonathan.
I just want to say salute to you, Q, man. And it's crazy how people try to debo you into a position, man. Like it ruins the conversation, man. Like six dudes yelling at each other at once.
right,
Eh,
and you know what, you know what, it's like even to have people tell me, Jonathan, that you should just accept being disrespected because Detective Thomas disrespects us all the time. Huh? I was like, are you really saying this to me? Can you not hear the zealotry that you just said in that statement?
the Akata. The Akata.
Yeah, it's like a cockpit talk. It's like what? You know
Um,
what? But you know what? You know what I said? I blame myself. Shouldn't have went over to and won't do it again. And then the host tries to say something later on, and I'm like, wow, really? You know what? It's all good. Peace sign. That's why I don't. I'm not mentioning it. It's some of the most childish stuff I ever been in, and people are not used to me getting upset. I don't like when guys do real. I, I don't like when guys do stuff that is not. I just don't like certain things that dudes do because you wouldn't do it in person. You wouldn't do it in person. And if you've been talking for 45 minutes and I take 3 minutes to just get some clarity, don't get impatient because you feel, well, you're just not understanding that Detective Thomas is loved here. And whatever Detective Thomas says is, and Detective Thomas has said this to you that John Benet Ramsey and mother and father are without any spot. Well, yeah, but the case is still open. It's inconclusive. Okay, okay, no problem. My fault. Never should have came over here. I thought y'all was black folks. I apologize. I'm this. I'm good. Yeah, he just wanted to be right. Okay, Jesus Christ. John Benet Ramsey's parents are without flaw. You're right. Case is still open, but John Benet's parents are without flaw. Let me get up out of here, man. I thank you, you guys. I'll highlight y'all later. I appreciate it.